we celebrate 15 years of him in the soca business. Legend, Bunji, make some noise for the one and only Bunji Garlin.
So Shakni from mysoul.com here with Bunji Garlin and Fay-Ann Lyons. Now, this film is in association with Raymond Little Photography and the man behind the camera, the big bad editor, Mikey MDE Films. We ready?
Ready.
We ready?
Ready.
Okay, okay. So anyway, the album's about to come out, Differentology. Have I said it right?
Yeah.
That's some tongue twister. I've been working on it all day. And obviously the single went big. So from my point of view, it wasn't a conventional soca tune. It was different as the album. Tell me about that.
Yeah, but what we did is just we decided to just make it a little darker than what soca usually is, because soca music is generally bright music, festive, you know, because of course it facilitates all the festivals or the carnivals around the world. So you get that happy frenzy to go with it. What we did is just, we took it like back in the olden days when the chords were a little darker. We did the minor chords, give it that kind of melancholy feel, slow down the tempo, slow down the lyrical content. And it wasn't like a specific plan to say, all right, we're going to make this like this so that this will do that. We just felt it like that and we went with it. It all came together in the space of like about 20 minutes maximum. It came together it was one of them real organic moments. Okay. And from ever since then, you know, that's basically the format we've been using. Just we capture that moment in the impulse, you know, like right there and then, and just work with it from then.
So the album's out this week on iTunes. What's going to be the next single from the album?
Well, actually, the next single right now is our Truck on the Road featuring A$AP Ferg. The album is actually out on the iTunes US store as of midnight, August 12th. And we know the usual pattern is US first. And for whatever reason, it comes out in the UK a little while after. So I know it will be released here soon on iTunes and Google Play. So the next single is, of course, Truck on the Road remix featuring A$AP Ferg, and gathering a lot of momentum already right now.
We have a truck on the road. Give it a nickname for the truck on the road. What we say? We have one big fast day. Stop the truck. Give it a nickname.
Do you feature on the album at all?
Actually, no, because I'm doing my own album since I'm signed to VP also, so I'm working on my own album. So I did have a little 2% input.
I bet you that's going to be the best 2%.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
So, I want to ask both of you a question. I don't know who's going to answer it first. What's the difference between Calypso and soca? Who's first?
One's party. Calypso is more informative. What's going on in the it was heralded as the poor man's newspaper.
Yeah.
So whatever happened in society, what the government was doing, what funny things happened in the neighborhood, from old folklore stories to what grannies say, anything that was news, economics, political or people oriented, that was serious stuff, that was social stuff, that was calypso. Soca was for the people who, after you hear all that news, you want to relieve your stress and stuff like that. That was the party segment. So that's one of the best distinctions you could make to identify the two.
Yeah.
Okay, and you agree with that answer? Anything to add?
Yeah. Just exactly what she just said. Every common sentence and full stop. And I just normally would say, with soca and calypso is what dancehall is to reggae. Is the exact same format. One was, what it was, and one is what it is.
Fair enough. Okay, tell me about your BET Awards. Award.
Well, I don't normally say mine. I say our in the Soul Train Award, the very first one for soca music. At the end of the day, soca was the winner overall, because you had 2 soca artists nominated. Either one that would have won, the award would have come home anyway. We just had that extra moment of feeling joy that we were able to bring it home. That my team was able to bring it home, because after all these years of your constant grinding, trying to find your way into the industry, into another industry, you have to fight through doubt, the skeptics, and all these things, and for that moment to fall into your hands is, it kind of just sums up the journey, and it is my belief that it won't be that long again before we have more of these moments happening for soca music, and it doesn't have to be me. I think it will be someone else. I definitely think it will be Fay-Ann Lyons, though.
I was just about to say it could be you.
Well, it could be anybody.
So, when is your album out?
The thing is, right now I'm in studio. We have one track that's being done with London Feature via Major Lazer. So that one's finished. We're supposed to start filming the video for that when I get back to Trinidad in a couple weeks. The second one is being done with Boy Wonder, who worked on Drake's album. He does Puff Daddy and all these people. So I have, the nice thing is I have good people working on the album. The sad thing is, because of the type of music that I'm capable of doing, I have dual musical citizenship. So now I have to do soca, party soca for my hardcore fans, but I'm also doing mainstream music because and I'm experimenting with Boy Wonder, who came to Trinidad, love carnival now, totally converted. So now he's experimenting to find his interpretation of what soca music is. So that should be interesting to see what we develop out of that. So I'm doing mainstream stuff, but I'm also doing soca stuff. So we may or may not do 2 albums.
If you're looking for anyone for your video in Trinidad, just send for me,
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can put me in the background as an extra, or I can be in. Are you in the video?
If I'm required to be.
Okay. if you don't need him, Anyway, back to the interview. As you can see, I'm just a joker. So you mentioned collaborations earlier on.
Yeah.
I've got you done Busta Rhymes, ASAP Ferg, as you mentioned, Stylo G, Major Lazer.
Yeah.
Any others coming?
Yeah, we have 1 or 2 others coming. Just the project that we just completed with myself and Junior Gong. Of course.
We'll get back to that in a minute.
And some others in the pipeline. Some I'm not at liberty to talk about yet.
Okay.
Right. I guess the plan is when it's time for launch, it will be a full launch and surprise everyone and things like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I watched your freestyle with Robert Rex.
Yeah.
And I picked out a few things. I'll go to the Cardinal Official,
Yeah.
Bounty Killer,
Yeah.
and Damien Junior Gong Marley.
Yeah.
Are you at liberty to speak?
Yeah. I know the freestyle said, three of us have something coming in combination. But when you're freestyling at that momentum, you have to squash words. So it actually meant collaborations here, collaboration there, collaboration there. It's three separate things I'm speaking about. Cardinal and I worked on about like 2 other projects before. One I could speak about now is a project he just sent me for myself, him and Fay-Ann Lyons as well. Kind of somewhat trap-a-lipso kind of vibes. Real different, real different. And he, of course, is working on an EP. And we just did a remix with myself, him, and another artist as well. He will talk about in time when ever you catch up with him. And a lot of those things are happening with their camp and our camp. Because Faye came up with an idea and spearheaded a movement that we are all involved in now, that she will talk about just now, that kind of marries the two entities of Cardinal Official and his crew and our crew, and it kind of just envelopes anything else that happens around us and just bring it into the realm to make it all network together and things like that.
Care to elaborate?
Yes, well, what I did is I founded something called USC, which is the United States of the Caribbean. And right now, we're basically fusing together producers and artists from different Caribbean countries to have that cross-pollination of music and exchange of information. Because a lot of the times, the Trinidadian producers, they work with Trinidadian artists and vice versa. So we're trying to totally, erase those lines and blur it and have the entire Caribbean look at themselves as states. So then now it'll be easy for a producer from St. Lucia to work with somebody from St. Vincent, or somebody from St. Vincent to work with artists and from Trinidad and Tobago. And what you'll get is the music from different islands filtering into different islands, and you have artists that probably have never been exposed to the Trinidad and Tobago market, getting exposure via that. And it's all under Ground Empire, which is a movement that we have. We're both members of Ground Empire. That's formed for like-minded people with respect to talent. If you have a skill or whatever, it's like a meeting pool for minds of people, but it's all entertainment based basically, because that's our strong point. That's where we are. And you're there. If you do music videos, fine, we link you up with artists that want music videos done, and you all do stuff. But it's a vetting process so that everybody who belongs to Ground Empire and who's part of the movement, they're upstanding citizens. There is not no smart thing going to happen. You're not going to take advantage, because some of the younger artists coming up, they don't know the business, and you don't want to expose them to people that's going to strip them of their talent and take advantage of them and make them really turn away from the industry and have a bad taste in their mouth.
Does that include Guyana?
Of course it includes Guyana.
Just double checking, because there's always this thing about whether Guyana is in.
I know whether they're Caribbean or not, right?
My parents are from Guyana, so that's why I asked that question.
We take them. We're taking them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm from the station My Soul, as I said before, and we're going to be at Carnival. Now, I saw on your freestyle you said you're going to Belgium soon.
Yeah, we went already. That was
okay.
Yeah, that was the week of the freestyle. We went to Belgium for the Antillians Festine, the biggest Caribbean festival in Brussels, actually, where it featured Fay-Ann Lyons on one night, myself on one night. It was crazy. I think the whole overall turnout in terms of the audience is something like 37,000 people. Would land on this. It's something like a Caribbean version of Woodstock, right? Because outside of the festival, on the outskirts, you have like 6,000 people just camping out, and they have tents and all that, and they have music and entertainment going on the outside there, while inside is packed on different stages and real nice vibe, real. You know, they had Caribbean bands from all over. The place was just wicked.
Okay. Yo, Jamaica in the house. Pick up a boss, Bunji Garlin. Right now, the world is. Everybody, let's do this one now. What are we doing? Put up on the ground. 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 Yo, get down, get down. One, get ready to jump on top. Get ready to jump. Jump. Everybody, let's go. Stop the jump now. Turn up, 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 turn up.
So, are you here for Carnival?
No, unfortunately not.
Have you been before?
We're going to Guyana.
Nice. Have you been before?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, okay. I want to ask both of you a question. So, I'd say that obviously Trinidad is home, and home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
Which other country? I want one, and I don't. It doesn't matter if you're biased. Whoever's watching, well, you might give me. We'll see. I want you to pick a country that you think the vibes has been the nicest at. Who's first? You can't pick one?
I'll let you go.
How many do you need?
I have 5. I'll let you go first.
5, okay.
It's kind of difficult to pick because, like, for instance, Barbados, awesome crowd, beautiful people, nice vibe. St. Vincent, crazy people, they'll climb on stuff, they'll break stuff up. Grenada, they will literally destroy the place, drag down stuff from people's houses. You understand? If you go St. Lucia, just have energy. Antigua, you have to perform for hours and hours and hours.
You're going through the whole of the islands.
But that's my thing. I love different islands for different reasons, and there's no one island that you could get all these elements in. Each island is totally different to each other, and I think that's what makes it not boring going to the different islands.
To be honest with you, I knew that would probably be the answer, but I thought I'd throw that question in anyway. Same for you?
You know, I always have 5 places I always say if I have to live outside of Trinidad. First place is Sweden, second place is Germany, third is UK, fourth is Grenada, fifth is Tobago.
Okay, so he knows the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Any reasons?
Well, because the first time we performed in Sweden was in like 2007. Just the reaction to the music, the whole vibe, everything, it caught me off guard because there was no promotion, there was no advertisement, radio, anything, and like 5,000 people showed up for the event, and it was just craziness. So that just stuck with me, and every time we go back, it's just we just connect. It's like home to home. Germany, same thing. UK, every time I come here, I just feel relaxed. I feel vibe. I have friends from home who they migrated and moved here. So from the time that we come here, when we all assemble, it feels like back home. And it's just a fit for me. Grenada, because I mean, just as Faye was saying just now, the energy and the vibe and everything. And of course Tobago, just so I could relax.
Gotta say big shout out to MDE Films all the way from Grenada via the UK. And
I have family in Trinidad as well.
Where are they from?
Kumuto.
My area.
Yeah?
My area.
You know somebody who knows him that knows somebody that...
My cousin was giving out posters with you.
Who?
Andy.
Small world.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah.
Gabriel, my cousin.
That's my crew right there he talking about.
Tell me about the Insomnia clash with Beanie Man.
That was wow.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, he
was there.
Yeah, because Faye didn't actually come to the show because she just had the baby and all that. And no, she didn't have the baby yet, but she was pregnant.
So the baby and Faye tore you up in the clash. But anyway.
No, it wasn't a clash. That was Soca Monarch. Yeah, that was Soca Monarch. But Insomnia, that was a real nice vibe. In fact, because Beanie Man was there with us for the whole carnival.
Yeah, he was.
So all events, we put on this just spontaneous vibe, just exchange lyrics. Nothing was written, nothing was planned, and everything was just off the top of the head.
My name is not Ace of Fables, so I want to tell you no tale. I'm tired. Real talk.